Hello and welcome to the Practice Marketing Podcast, highlighting successful strategies from North America's fastest growing clinics and experts so you can learn from their wins and power your practice growth. Hi, I'm your host, Neil Trickett, CEO of Practice Promotions, and today we're going to talk about 5 fall social media content ideas that you can do for your physical therapy or chiropractic practice. So let's talk about this. Social media is a great tool that you can use, obviously, to have good conversations with your community and attract attention to your practice. And let's face it, it is pumpkin spice season, even though I completely hate pumpkin spice, but I do like pumpkin, and we can get into the spirit of things here. So it's time to really think about how you can use social media and this time of year. People are big into activities and doing a lot of activities out there. People are getting hurt, they're getting injured, things are flaring up. It's time for you to get in front of them and have them connect with you and see how that you can solve their problem and be the solution to their pain or getting back to activities. So you want to really look at where is your main audience is for this. Honestly, when it comes to being in a practice, let's think about the audiences that we have. Most of the time, our audiences are going to be demographics of people that are typically 35, 40 or plus. Sometimes we have sports programs and things like that, but a generality, we tend to have a little bit, middle-aged and older in our crowd. So do we need to use TikTok for that? Not really. We need to be on usually Facebook, Instagram, and sometimes you can use things like Twitter, depending on where you are, if you're like in an urban area. But definitely want to look at who's your right audience that you want to connect with on the right channels. And of course, you want to be posting across multiple channels, but sometimes you have to gear what you're putting together to communicate effectively on those particular channels. So the key thing here is this time of year in the fall is really to connect around seasonal activities, right? People are very busy. There's a lot of sports activities going on. There's football and soccer and all kinds of, running. The weather is a nice temperature outside, so people are doing a lot of outside activities. So how can you be creating content that's really relevant to them, right? So if you have ways to get in front of people that maybe are in recreational leagues, for example. It doesn't have to be necessarily a high school or a college sports team. It could be people who are just active adults, right, that like playing games, maybe play some rec football or soccer. What kind of things can you be gearing for that? And there's a lot of people that go to the gym or are just active with running. So can you be creating seasonal posts and content that's helpful and useful to them, gives them ideas, things that they're going to share with their network of friends and family, and then that's going to spread the word of your clinic, right? So the important thing here to really think of is during this time of year, and as you're using social media, to really look at it as social media is a way of not just sending out something that's marketing, but more like starting a conversation, something that's going to be interesting and exciting to someone else, and that you can actually join their conversation and be something that's shareable in their particular networks. So you want to let your personality shine here in your clinic. You have a lot of fun with it. Social media is meant to be a little bit more silly, right? You don't have to be so conservative or stiff about it. So just have some fun with it. And then you look at things in the community. Are you having 5K races, or is there a community fair, or is there special events that's going on in your community? And how can you follow those particular events that are going on, engage on those posts? There's opportunities to invite people back to particular pages or blogs or tips that you may have around those things that could be helpful in those areas. And you can actually make a lot of really neat connections on there too. Getting to know some of the event organizers that can stir network relationships and all kinds of things from that. So that's a thing right there, is really looking at social media is more of a conversation. How can you create dialogue from your posts, and then also join dialogue from posts too? Doesn't mean you have to spend hours and hours each day on social media there, but a few dedicated minutes towards that can go a long way. Another thing here is looking at this time of year, what kind of content can you create around holidays, right? And celebrations or awareness days. And so we've got some big holidays here, obviously in the fall. We've got like Halloween and Thanksgiving. So we can definitely have graphics and tips and advice and things that are geared towards Halloween, which can be a lot of fun. You can have a lot of fun with that. And then Thanksgiving, time to reflect on health and all kinds of family and those kind of activities, right? But some ideas, obviously, we've got Labor Day that you can think of, Grandparents' Day, Oktoberfest, Physical Therapy Month is a big one there. So a lot of people may not be aware of that. And, if we ask the community out there, have they heard of PT? They'll say yes. But if you ask them what a PT does, they probably won't have much of a clue. So that's a great time to bring awareness to PT as a whole and what do you actually help people accomplish, right? And so you can spread some awareness around that versus just having something that says, hey, it's PT month. Well, that's not that helpful. But if you have something that's PT month and this is what people typically go to a physical therapist for, and we help, restore, movement, strength, mobility, coordination, things that lead to longstanding musculoskeletal and neurological problems. Depending on where your specialty is, you can go lots of different types of posts with that. But have some fun with it, but be educational at the same time with that.
Do you want more freedom in your clinic? Then you need to work on your business, not just in it. The top practice owners know that they need a marketing system that consistently attracts patients from the internet. And at Practice Promotions, we've helped hundreds of practice owners skyrocket to the top of Google and get more new patients from online. Go to practicepromotions.net/kit to get our free practice marketing sample kit. It includes all our digital marketing tips and tricks that will get you new patients from Google. That's practicepromotions.net/kit, KIT, for a free marketing kit. And now back to the show.
Another one here is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So how can you tie that into things that you do within the clinic? Some clinics do have cancer rehab programs. So that could be something that you really highlight during that time, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. But even so, if you don't have a specialized cancer rehab program, you can bring light to the fact that usually after breast cancer, there's a lot of scarring, limitation of mobility, self-awareness issues, and things that can be helped along with, PT or chiropractic, right? You can definitely help improve mobility, like upper extremity mobility, right? So a lot of times people are not aware that those solutions are out there, and they just kind of go along with the traditional medical. We'll just deal with it. But it's the what's happening after, years after the remission of cancer there. So that you can put a lot of posts that are around that are very, very helpful to people. Halloween, we just talked about that. Have some fun with it. Make it spooky. Be silly with it. It's great to really showcase the personalities within your clinic. Tell the stories. People like to see other people, so it's a great time if you're being, having events or fun activities with your staff and people are dressing up and whatever you may be doing. Showcase that online and tie it in with something, right? It doesn't always have to be information educational. It can just be fun and silly. And especially if people have been to you before, it's a great way to reconnect with them using social media. Then we've got Veterans Day. We've also got Thanksgiving as another major holiday here. So with Thanksgiving, can you reflect on health, right? And being thankful for your health and being thankful for your friends and family and being able to do activities with them and kind of, going along that chain of thought there can really help, again, just bring awareness. And again, as we're looking at fall here, we've got, depending where you are in the country, leaves turning and falling and the activities that, go around that. Sometimes there's hiking that's going on, right? There's definitely, where I am in Virginia, there's lots of leaves to be raking up. So do you have tips and advice on how to rake leaves properly? People might be planting spring bulbs like tulips and daffodils. So what do they do for gardening? It's a fun time of year for recipes, right? And so it doesn't have to be, again, an educational thing just about your services, but you can have some fun things like, fall recipes that are healthy or not healthy. And an example of that is I remember we have a client in Arkansas, and trying healthy recipes in their newsletters for one time did okay, but they're like, hey, can we put some, pastry and kind of recipes that were loaded with butter in there, and it was a hit, right? So it just shows you wherever you're in the country, if you're in a Paula Deen kind of area, then, a fun baking type recipe could be very helpful there for a seasonal post. So just have fun with it. Again, you can also tie posts in with maybe blog posts or articles you have that are a bit more in depth, because again, for social media, I want it to be something that's quickly digestible. So let's say you have a lot of tips around hiking, for example, in the fall, and things to do or not to do with that. That might be more of a blog post, but you could certainly highlight that within your social media posts, and then link, of course, to drive traffic back to those areas. Now on Instagram, that link back might be a little tougher. You could do it in something like a link tree, which is in your profile, but you probably want to do something more like a video in that perspective. So I would encourage you to really look at videos or animations, things that can make it a bit more entertaining and informational. But certainly things like apple picking spots, healthy snacks. Again, it doesn't have to necessarily be about just things to avoid or prevent when doing physical activities, but also it could be things that are useful or helpful. So example, I get sometimes a postcard, right, from a realtor in the area, and all on that postcard is helpful events and activities that are going on in our community, right? And to me, that's helpful. I keep it around. And even though it's got nothing to really do with buying a house, it's something that keeps people looking at it, right? So again, you can use the same philosophy with your social media, in that you can really use something that's super helpful, or activities, or even listing all the fun events that are happening in your community that you researched, and having it with a post. That's going to get shared a lot, right? And finally here, this is a great time of year as we do a lot of things within the clinic that are fun. It's a great time to be taking video. It's a great time to be taking pictures of your team, showing how you give back. If you're doing any kind of, being at an event, or like a 5K, or whatever you may have going on, or you gave a lecture somewhere, like you need to highlight those things also in your social media. And a picture's worth 1,000 words, and probably a video's worth 10,000 words. So you want to really look at whose responsibility is it in the clinic to push that along. Now, as the owner, you shouldn't expect yourself to go and just videotape and take pictures of everybody. But if it's a mutual thing, and what you're trying to accomplish with it, and you explain to the team, like, hey, we're trying to do this, we're trying to show our culture so that we can find more great people like you, but also really connect with people in the community, and they can see what it's like coming here and what kind of fun and culture that we have. So really work on generating content within the clinic. There usually has to be someone that's sort of in charge, that's asking for so many videos or pictures taken a week. Of course, you want to be mindful that if you are taking any pictures with patients in it, which is a good thing, that you get consent, and that there's some sort of record of that consent, because you don't want to get into any kind of trouble for any HIPAA violations or things like that. But again, don't let that deter you from certainly trying to get as much video and pictures as possible within the clinic. What we see is that clinics that do put effort into that and generating, video content, picture content within their clinic, are really the ones that succeed when it comes to marketing. So it's something that you do want to put some attention on and some responsibility on, and make it easy for your team to be able to do that. So I hope these 5 fall social media tips help you give some ideas on what you can be doing here to level up your social media promotions here in 2024 and beyond. Anytime you have a need for looking at other marketing ideas, just check out our website, practicepromotions.net. We've got tons of great ideas for you on there, just like this one right here. And if you want to know more about what we do, you can also book a demo at that time. We do have a great social media program that we help with our clients that have custom content within their clinics, and we go ahead and make it much more professional and make it easy, and a done-for-you service getting it out. So if you'd like to know more about that, just reach out on our website and book a strategy call, and we can talk about that. So Neil Trickett here from Practice Promotions and the Practice Marketing Podcast, wishing you much success in your practice.
Thank you for listening to the Practice Marketing Podcast. Don't forget to get your free practice marketing sample kit at practicepromotions.net/kit. Start 2024 off the right way by building marketing systems that automatically attract new patients from online. That's practicepromotions.net/kit.